You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Old School Wrestling After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Old School Wrestling After Show.
We were just looking at the picture up here. What's wrong with that picture, Nikki?
Too much crotch, too much hair, and feet. Just, did they not have boots back in the day?
That guy didn't wrestle with boots. There's many who didn't.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, we're here for old school
Mr.
wrestling.
Fuji didn't wrestle with boots.
Many
I don't
didn't.
think.
We're here for old school wrestling, one of my favorite parts of the show.
Ray Tanaka doesn't.
And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, and also Bing is for doing a lot of stuff.
It is?
It is.
Doing what?
Well, it does a lot. If you want to look up some old school wrestling videos, go on Google, or not Google, but Bing.com, and you'll find it.
If you're Ric Drasin and you like to
I
look
know.
up things about yourself, go on Bing.com.
I look up about myself all the time. I found out something new about me every other day. I didn't know even existed. But I'm Ric Drasin, your host, and my beautiful co-host, New York Knockout, who's here and does a wonderful job on the show with us, and we just love her dearly.
Hello, everybody.
And we have our super fan, Ryan Clum,
Yes,
who
hello.
knows a little bit about everything.
A little bit.
And our new man, Chris Mastro, who also is a wrestler and an artist and a graphic designer and just about does about everything as well.
Hello.
So we're going to have a lot of fun. And I want to start this show off with a video.
Actually, before you start, Rick,
Where's that voice coming from?
I just
Uh-oh,
want
is that Marissa?
To,
I'm
hearing things.
Hey,
The famous Marissa.
Yes,
here.
Marissa. What is it, my child?
I just want to quickly remind everyone who's listening and watching, Thursday and Friday this upcoming week, May 31st and June 1st, from 12 to 6, we are going to be doing the MTV Movie Awards gifting suite. So we're going to bring 10 live shows out there and do some after shows and talk to some celebrities and have some fun interviews and talk about the shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. That is Thursday and Friday of this week from 12 to 6. You should check it out. And also Friday night, we're going to be doing the MTV Movie Awards pre-show. So it's going to be fun.
Sounds like I hope I get invited next time because I feel left out right now. Don't you, Ryan?
I feel incredibly
I
left
feel
out.
a little left out.
Why we're like the
We're the
used to-
redheaded stepchilds
What are we
of
the- yeah, what are we,
AfterBuzz.
the
I'm
dream
used to being
team?
left out.
Maybe next time, Philip says. So let's hope that we can. Marissa,
We're new.
my child.
Yes,
Marissa,
Rick.
there's a video there that says Jim Londos versus Bronco Nagurski.
Yes.
That's 19. Now, I want to tell you guys, this is 1938 when wrestling had started to evolve. And obviously, they did not have TV at the time, but they had film, and it looks like a match on TV. I mean, it's pretty different.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they
And you
did.
can tell with the frame rate it's film, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I don't know what they did to air this or show it or whatever because it was before television.
Probably probably at the movie theater.
Newsreels.
It's newsreels, yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of this stuff was seen. More people, like back when, I forget what I learned it in film school, the stat of how many people went to the movies back then. It was almost everybody.
Everybody
I mean,
went.
it was
Right.
a lot more than now. That's where you went and you got your news and you got your information was at the movie theater.
Well, I'm just talking to somebody the other night because you go to the movies as a kid and you had two features and a newsreel and a cartoon.
Yeah.
For the same price. But if you notice, he's got the right leg, not the left. I don't know if they were working one side or the other, how they did back then. But it's not too far off than what's going on now.
Yeah.
That ring.
Yeah, you can tell. You just know that mat is yellow and musty and dirty.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Rick, at what point did did colorful designs and logos start appearing on the draws, or did it come from Mexico originally, or
No,
was
we,
there a certain
we
time
talked
frame?
about that in the past. That was back in the 50s when Gorgeous George came out with the orchids and the purple and the gold bobby pins. It brought a lot of flamboyance to the ring. And then after that, of course, Ric Flair followed with the robe and the blonde hair. A lot of the guys did the blonde hair thing.
And it's evolved. I mean, today it's.
Oh, you just missed that headlock takeover. The guy didn't go over. Leg scissor. I mean, it's.
Oh wow, there's
right.
Yeah,
It's pretty similar.
very similar.
Yeah, and this is 1938, people. 1938. It's now he's talking about a choke with the leg there.
I want to see when he kicks out.
That could be a finish. You never know.
Yeah, with these old matches. Yeah, and he would just hold that for a while. Oh,
Oh, nice.
Did he kip up out of
he
there?
did a kip up. Yeah, it was so fast. It was hard to.
I love the stiff-legged lock.
Did you see that? The stiff-legged lockup.
Wow.
Wow,
They
it
look
was like a neck breaker.
They
yeah.
look stiff, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? Some of
Kinda
these
works, though.
It's interesting because some of these moves here in 1938, you don't even see some of the stuff in the.
No.
It's almost closer to now and some of the stuff than some of the stuff in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
It looks
It
way
is.
dangerous.
Yeah.
It does look dangerous.
Because it does look stiff, and I think they probably had to make it more believable because they had nothing else at that
Look at
point.
the elbows.
And plus, they
inside
didn't know how to work it as well. You
Right.
didn't have the evolution of the art.
And also, it was acknowledged that,
There was
grand,
kayfabe back then.
Right.
Yeah.
There was kayfabe big time.
Didn't want
Big
to
time.
say
It was probably advertised like a boxing match.
They
or
kind of
like a-
stumble into the ropes a lot. You know, you see the film, The Glitch is the film.
Yeah.
But it's all grappling. All
Yeah.
of it.
nothing
Yeah,
off the
there's
ropes.
no punches.
Well, they had
There's
one off the rope there.
Those ropes look a little
going into.
loosey.
It looks like he's going to a snapmare, but
Yeah.
he's doing a sprawl, so he can't go. They do a sprawl in UFC. See? That's interesting. That they'll
Yeah.
resist like
Ryan's
that.
gonna steal that.
I think he is.
I might. I can't do snap
But
mares though.
that's pretty interesting though, how he's resisting that. Never went anywhere with it.
He's not selling though. I'm not sold.
There's some reason why though.
Rick, I know they do this in Japan, but old school America, did they ever do like a boxing match and a wrestling match in the same night? And mix it up?
yeah.
I did a
Big
show
time.
like that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they even do like from what I understand,
Wow.
Pride Fighting Championships used to be like pro wrestling and MMA fights, and especially in Japan, they do a lot of that.
See, this is the move before, the same thing. Even when they get to the ropes, look at the difference.
Wow,
It just looks like
super
he's
loser.
struggling the whole time.
Yeah. But Jim Lonnis was a real good shooter. That I know for a fact.
And this was 1938.
1938.
This is a cool match.
It really is for the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just picked him up and slammed him. There wasn't
Yeah.
even any technique to it.
Yeah, because he's not.
It totally evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you can. It's interesting because you can see like where the ideas
Yeah,
came
yeah,
from, but
exactly.
they hadn't figured out
shoulder
how to
blocks.
post and do certain things.
And the shoulder blocks aren't even centered. They're anywhere in the ring.
Yeah.
Well, nothing seems centered at this point. There's no such thing as ring spacing
No.
whatsoever.
It looks like
He's done that about 10 times already.
Yeah.
it looks like two kids who watch wrestling fighting each other.
Uh-huh. They could have done this on the front lawn. But they are struggling.
But it looks like a real fight, I must say.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like
I'm not so sure it wasn't at least halfway that the shoot.
Yeah, back then.
I'm
I
sure they
wouldn't
didn't
be-
call matches in the back.
Yeah, because I say back in '38, I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer to a shoot because I forgot when they started to evolve. But
Look at this. Look at this.
this is probably
This is really.
that looked pretty stiff right there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he looked like he.
I mean, there were no
pulled on his
wrestling
shoulder.
schools. The guys just worked out, and they had a promoter, obviously, who said, "Hey, you got a guy to do a show. I need a guy to do a show. How much you paying? $20, $10, whatever. I'll put him in the match tonight. You know, see what he can do." And I'm sure they didn't talk it over.
Headbutt to the stomach.
And they keep going back to that lockup. Every time they break, they
See, there's not a lot.
They were trying to keep locking up.
There's not a lot of heel move there at all.
Yeah, there really is no separation of the
this now.
characters. Yeah, I guess this would be before you had the good guy and bad guy,
Yeah.
really. It was just, so hence the structure of a match is going to be different. The
Yeah.
psychology of getting the crowd up and down. It's
just the
See that move right there?
storytelling of a fight.
That's going to hurt, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of judo throws.
Judo
going on.
throws, exactly.
Down to the canvas, Bronco Nagurski goes once more. Watch him try and protect that arm if he can, but no, Jimmy Londos is too quick for him. He gets in there with the
See that? Another
Oh,
slam.
yeah. It's,
canvas again. It looks bad, ladies and gentlemen, for Bronco Nagurski. Watch the referee down there counting, and there is a new champion.
It's fantastic.
Did he just tap out?
no, he counted, the referee counted 1, 2, 3. He like counted. It was different. He didn't hit the mat.
I enjoyed that.
I did too. That was very good.
Thanks, Marissa. Look how they all come in the ring and take pictures. See, they all got their business suits on or taking photos.
It's like a boxing,
Like a
like a
boxing.
fight.
Like when I was a kid, I remember watching the WWF house shows from Madison Square Garden, and they would be just photographers all around the ring
Yes,
taking
all around
pictures.
the ring.
Yeah, all around the ring taking pictures of it. It was
we have to do a
it was
spot.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, let's
We're
do
gonna
that
a
first.
little
I have
Amazon.
something else to tell you.
All right, Amazon. Before you're going to shop online at Amazon, first go to AfterBuzzTV.com and click on the Amazon banner at the top, and then shop. AfterBuzz gets a kickback of your purchase, no extra costs. It's a way to support AfterBuzz TV so that we can keep doing after shows for you. Thank you. Go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the Amazon banner, and shop.
Oh, very well done. Very well done.
I'm trying.
You were talking about boxing and wrestling. Last night I watched the history of Bruce Lee. It's been
Oh,
on
really?
several times. And Gene LaBelle, who we're going to have on here, who was
I can't wait to meet him.
Was the godfather of grappling. I mean, he was like-
Godfather of the Yes Lock.
Yeah, I mean, he really was. He was the master of. Actually, he taught Bruce Lee. And
Really?
Yeah, Bruce Lee trained with Gene. They had a match. I think it was 1963 or somewhere, where Gene went against a boxer, and a well-known boxer. And he came out. Gene just got to hold him, put him down, bing, bing, bing. He was like Bing.com. He put a choke on him, and that was it. He was out like a light, and it was a shoot. So,
How old is he now?
80.
Probably still wouldn't want to fight him.
No, you
Probably
wouldn't.
still choking people.
Still
my
choking people
God.
out at his dojo on Monday nights over in North Hollywood. I see
Yeah.
Gene all the time. I see him at dinner. I see him at the car wash. We're gonna get him on hopefully in June or July. He's really busy right now.
I'm sure he's like, have you ever seen the Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows documentary?
Yes.
Where they go down to the dungeon with Stu, and he's got a
Yes.
couple of students who are like, he's like, "I'll wrestle with you, sir," and then it cuts to Stu having this kid in this weird lock, and the guy like, "Oh," it's like lip is quivering, and Stu's just going, "You see, we move the arm back, and he starts to get pass out a little bit," and the guy's just like, you see his buddy there, like big eyes, does not want anything to do with it.
This is how it was with old school. You had
Amazing.
those guys that just wanted to take you apart in a ring, just
You
like
got
there.
this 70-year-old man like just tearing people apart.
Age
So
has nothing to do with it. It's experience. I mean, it's a couple
Wow.
moves here and there, and watching
Look
Bruce
at
Lee.
Mr. Miyagi. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
Oh yeah, very
Exactly.
true.
Someone's ass.
But Bruce Lee was talking about wrestling being the number one thing that evolved in martial arts. That everybody who was a good wrestler really took the lead because wrestling was it. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Look at mixed martial arts today. Look at all some of the it's a big argument, but a lot of the guys, they say the best base to have is wrestling, because you get to dictate where the match goes. If you want to keep it standing, you keep it standing. If you want to take it to the ground, you can take it to the ground. It's the best base to have.
Yeah.
Look at Antonio Inoki versus Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
He just
there-
whipped his legs the whole time.
There's another one.
Laid on his
another one.
back, said, "Come and punch me if you can." Just kicked his knees and legs.
I was told that he wasn't
Most
supposed to.
recent,
He
yeah.
wasn't supposed to hurt him.
Right. It was supposed to be a work, and it
Yeah.
was a. He didn't care.
And as far as a shoot goes, Randy Couture fought James Toney a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
it was just
saw it.
shot that awful shoot just for an ankle lock. He's like, I knew he didn't have any wrestling, so I could probably get him on. It was like a high school move.
Yeah.
Caught that ankle, took him down. James Toney couldn't do anything.
That was the end of it.
That was it.
Wrestler comes out on top every time.
Yep.
Okay, I have another video here. I
Can always have a lunky punch, but
think I'd like to do the El Santo versus Espanto with the mask versus mask. Do you see that one, Marissa? This is for
Yep,
you.
here it is.
There's a couple of good ones here that are pretty interesting.
Here we go.
This is a mask for mask. The loser has to take off a mask, or
No, well, yeah, the loser's trying to pull the mask off their opponent.
oh, so that's how you win by
Or
demasking them,
yeah,
or
either or.
Now, I'm not so sure this isn't a scene from a movie.
It's kind of like a hair versus hair match.
It does look. Let's see.
If they pan to a guy in the audience, I saw this. It was a scene from a movie. I like this movie.
It may not be.
That's a good angle, camera angle right here. Shooting your camera low like that.
Oh, interesting.
It's like you're on the ground with them.
Yeah, I love that.
And they went to color.
That's something you guys might want to do in your next matches. Have someone tape from that angle,
From below?
from below, shooting in.
Are you going to translate?
They did some of that on the DCW match with.
Y observó a sus más queridos ídolos sobre el cuadrilátero hasta dar el último grito de aliento con una arena pabellón del norte neutral.
What is this,
dividida
70s or?
en las tribunas.
Is that Blue Demon Jr.?
This is. I don't have a date on it.
Luego de una destacada exhibición del
Kinda like this old school wrestling. It's like Mystery Science Theater.
It is really. I mean,
Well, but yeah.
honestly, Chris, there's things that you don't see today that you could take from here and incorporate into your own work.
Yeah, we've seen a couple times. We've talked about it, like the wrestler who's getting pinned catching the referee's arm
Yes.
on the 3 count. We've seen that a bunch of times in some of these old matches.
That's a good trick.
Look at all three
Yeah.
in the ring doing something. You know,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
it's like the Easter parade. Nick, you understand this? How that works with everybody? I don't really understand it.
How what works?
How lucha works as far as winning. I mean, they
Oh,
have-
you don't need to tag in.
Yeah.
It's once you hit the floor, the next guy comes in,
Lucha,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then if it's 2 out of 3 falls, it's usually both partners
See-
pin 2 people. No.
Well, the
It's hard
fans
to tell who's on what
the
team.
fans
sometimes.
understand it, though, right?
Yeah.
Is the reason why there seems to be more lucha tag matches just because there's limited time slot for the lucha and they try to get as many guys in as possible, or?
Well, plus a lot of the luchas 2 out of 3 falls, so to have one person do a one-on-one 2 out of 3 falls is
a lot,
less
yeah.
entertaining and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
What would you say? Is there a lot of guys who don't wear masks as well, or is it most? They almost. I mean, there's obviously a couple of guys there, but is it almost always someone's mask?
I mean, yeah, like a mask is your character. A mask, helps tell the story,
Right.
or who you train with, where you came from. I mean, even
Yeah.
in LA, there's a lot of lucha guys wear their masks.
Because Rey El Hijo, Rey Mysterio, his mask is almost the same as Rey Mysterio Jr.'s. I mean, they're different, but that eagle thing I know, which is the Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I mean, Mexican fans in general don't care about, if things make sense or if this one tags this one, and they just love the fact that you're entertaining them.
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
basically it. It's like church to them.
Yeah, it's one of those things like so weird to me. It's like Alberto Del Rio was under a hood for most of his career, and it's like, he's a good-looking guy, and it's like, I can't believe, he's always been under a mask.
Well,
But
no
he's
mask,
also
Chris?
You
like-
can see why they pulled the mask off him, and they're like,
He's like a freaking god in Mexico too.
Right,
Like
those
he's
cars.
huge. He's huge. So I don't know how they feel about him.
Mil Mastro's the same way. I mean, I worked with Mil back in the 70s, and this man knew 1,000 holds.
I worked with him last October.
It's
Mil
amazing how
Mascaras,
he
the
still
man with no belly button.
He
You were
still
talking
stays in
about
shape.
that. Or?
You have to do a commercial?
Yes, but finish up your thought.
Well, what I'm saying is Mil Mascaras, he used to train down at Gold with us, and then we do our shows. Without the mask, he looks a lot like Del Rio. He's a very good-looking
really?
guy. His name is Aaron Rodriguez. Really nice guy, and he's world famous forever. And
Yeah.
he's like 70 now, and he's still working. Always had his waist all tucked in, and he just strutted
Okay,
around the ring
funny
like a
story.
racehorse. Yeah.
My trainer, Zocre of Los Luchas, convinced me that Mil Mascaras had no belly button. And of course I believed because he always wore his pants so high.
Well, you know where that comes
So
from?
dumb.
And when you wear your pants high like that,
Yes.
it's like in boxing, it's like no hitting below the belt. And so Jerry Lewis did a movie about boxing and wrestling. He wore his pants up here, no hitting below the belt.
Oh,
Did
I
you
thought
think
it
he
had
was
to do with
created?
love
Did
handles.
you think he was created in a?
I did.
Did you think he was created in a lab or something with
I
no belly
wasn't
button? You
thinking,
realize you
because
have to
I
have a
do-
belly button, right?
I do have a degree in biology, but it was like, okay, Zocre means so much to me, and he's my trainer. I'll believe anything that
Right,
he
right.
says.
A
So
lot of guys used to wear tights like that.
maybe like
Here's
something
why.
happened to where he lost his belly button.
He lost his belly button.
It got filled in.
Putty. He's putty.
Everyone who wants to follow us on iTunes, please do rate and comment. Tell a friend. Podcasting's great. You can watch a show, of course, but also if you're at work, if you're at the gym, listen to us. Listen to the podcast.
Listen to Rick put himself over.
Yeah, Ric Drasin. Rick, do you have anything to say about iTunes?
I use iTunes all the time. I think it's a wonderful program on my computer. And I do listen to podcasts when I'm doing something else because I can't always sit and watch the videos. So therefore, I can hear what's going on because I'm multitask. I
Right.
can do 10 things at once.
Right.
And my iTunes is running in the background.
Later on at our respective Memorial Day barbecues, I'm sure we'll have iTunes as a playlist. Or
We will have it. Yes, that's right. That's
and
right.
we'll get some
iTunes
John
is changing a
Fogerty.
lot.
We'll get some.
But we need comments on there.
Yes.
Good ones.
Good comments.
Yes.
Please.
Don't hurt our feelings.
Please. I'm very sensitive.
Yeah, iTunes is interesting. Totally unrelated to wrestling, but in the music industry, it's interesting how you don't have to have the middleman anymore. You can actually get your music out to the world or whatever without having to go to Best Buy and pick it up. You can get right to your fans now. You can get it.
There are wrestling podcasts. Like Cole Cabana has a great podcast.
Excellent one, yeah.
The Art of Wrestling, and it's free on iTunes as
He
well.
would be fun to get on
Are they
here
out of here?
sometime.
Is he out of Los Angeles?
No, he's in Chicago.
He's Chicago, but he
Comes out here
he
for-
comes out here for NWA Hollywood, so he is in town sometimes. So
Interesting.
he is CM Punk's best friend.
I'm so happy to know that.
Yeah.
And now I'll know who his best friend is.
Yep.
Marissa, can we do the other
They were a
Santo
neat
versus
tag
Blue
team.
Demon?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Because they were, what was Second City Saints? Was it him and CM Punk?
I'm just running out of ink.
What do you need ink for?
I'm drawing cartoons as I sit here.
Oh. I think this is.
This is from a
an
movie.
action.
Is this the Mask vs. Mask? Or
No, this is
Santo versus Blue Demon.
Santo versus Blue Demon. Just interesting to watch their work.
Do you know what year this was from?
I don't have it listed. It didn't say.
Because it seems like the Mexican style was definitely entertainment based before the American style.
This is you can tell by their outfits. This is probably around 70s. Maybe before. Look at the guy here.
No, I think it's before this.
yeah,
60s,
it's like 60s,
60s.
50s, 60s.
And this is out of a movie. Obviously, they keep panning this guy in the audience. He's got money on one of the wrestlers, or he's controlling him. There's always a storyline here. I think this is what I was talking about last week, Nikki, when I was saying there was a movie where the guy shows up in his cape and his little sports car, and he.
They had tons of movies.
Yeah.
With Blue Demon and.
Yeah, they
Santo.
did.
That's it, huh?
You can rock that thing back and forth and
A few times, yeah.
They were like married in wrestling. They wrestled each other
All the time. That's pretty good. 2 out of 3.
I would like to see more 2 out of 3 falls matches.
I do too. I like them.
Yeah, they just did one. Sheamus and Daniel Bryan just did one. But yeah, they're not.
If you gear the finishes right, they can be a lot of fun.
And it puts both guys over if both guys get the win.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't always work that way. You might win 2 in a row.
I've never seen that once.
Let's say, has that ever
I
happened?
have.
Hulk Hogan
I've
versus Shawn
never
Michaels
seen
was
that.
the only one.
In Lucha, I've never seen
Oh,
that.
not Lucha. No, I've seen it before.
It makes sense. It completely makes sense.
Yeah. Everyone's changed it up a little bit. I like the flying head scissors.
You know they stole that from Glow. Sorry.
I think this is way before Glow.
But they always used to do that move.
No, Mae Young and
Oh,
Mildred
yeah.
Burke and Moolah were the original Glow Girls.
Look at the whips off the rope.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that. Nice backdrop.
Camel clutch.
Yeah. There's a camel clutch.
There's one.
So it's 1-1
That's
now.
one. Yeah.
Also, with these 2 out of 3 falls match, you could win one of the first falls with a move like that, where now you've got to do your finisher all the time.
Well, they've established the finishers. Back then, these guys didn't, they did whatever they wanted to do. That was nice.
You could hit a big finish in a second fall or
Yeah.
a first fall because they usually in between falls give you a little bit of time.
Yeah, you got a rest period.
Give the time to the heels to heal, and then like the faces to.
Well, the cool thing is you want 3 distinct different finishes. So
Yes, you do.
So because of that, there's like more of a threat because more moves can end it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, but see that the falls aren't as, the first fall might take a while, or it might be quick, and the second fall might take longer. The last fall might be a real quick. boom, 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 and end of match with a reverse of some sort to fool the people because they think it's going to go one way and it doesn't, goes another.
One fall's usually the heels just beating the crap out of the faces.
Yeah.
And then the second, it's almost like a full match, like all together, but
Right.
it's like heat, and then there's like a comeback for the faces, and then like the last
That's a
round
nice
is
move right
usually
there.
the finish.
There it is again.
Look at the people going nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a movie and such, but
The flash cameras.
of the 10 years of wrestling that I've done, I distinctly remember this one show that I was at, maybe 2 years into it. They sold masks at the show, and I was peeking through the curtain during intermission, and these 2 little boys were in the ring, and there must have been brothers or something, and they're just fighting each other.
right.
This one kid rips the other kid's mask off, and the kid just covers his face.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was just the funniest, the cutest thing ever. Like, they were so into it. Like, no one can see my face. He like grabs a t-shirt and like puts it over his head because nobody can see his face.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was definitely
Wrestling's
trip to see that.
huge down in Mexico, isn't it?
yeah.
In big houses.
Like it's a religion. They when I went for my mini tour, we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it's during the week. It's not just like a Saturday night or a
Right.
Friday. It's every single day that
Yeah.
they do shows, and people show up. It's always packed.
What do they charge?
Always.
What do they charge to get in?
Honestly, I don't know.
I mean, they have
That's
the
a good
money. They have the
question.
money to go though.
So do
Yeah, well, they'll make the money to go. It's
I know,
like
they have like AAA and CMLL are the two big promotions right down there.
yeah.
What are their houses like? Is it like WWE where 15,000 people come and watch them, or is it like a couple thousand, or like how big?
There's thousands.
Yeah, I mean, I don't because
It's in the
I know
Because
they have.
WWE puts what 10,000 people into a
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown, something like that.
I mean, it's kind of like the states where they'll have like Ring of Honor, which is like Perros del Mal, and they go to like different. It depends on the city. I mean, I know we did a show in like Zacatecas, which is like way in the mountains, and it was maybe a Sunday night, and we were like 2 hours late on the bus, and it was just packed. I mean, people just stood there to wait. It's just total different vibe out there than like an indie show out here.
Right.
They just they love it, and they love the fact that, like I said, you're entertained.
All right. Well, video games.
He's texting right
No,
now.
my daughter.
You
doesn't
can probably get a
understand.
Lucha Libre video game on GameFly, I would think.
Yeah, Gamefly.com. You want to get WWE 12 or any other wrestling or any other first-person shooter, role-playing game, any type of game, you go to Gamefly.com. And the good thing about Gamefly.com is that video games are expensive. What, $60?
Yeah, how much are they, Ryan?
$59.99
not a
for the
gamer.
top. Yeah, first the big new games are $60.
I remember there was like an RPG when we were younger that was $84. It was
I
like a
remember
big
that.
Japanese import. It was like, wow, but $60 for a game is a lot.
It is.
Gamefly.com, you keep the game as long as you want. When you're done with it, you return it, get a new game.
Good deal.
So
It's a good
yeah,
deal.
and it gives you the incentive to get the game, beat the game, and return it. A lot of times you get a game, you get a bunch of games, and you just, these are cool, show your friends, and you never beat them.
Or you try to sell it back, and then you don't get the money.
Right, you get
Yeah.
like half the price.
Yeah.
So Gamefly.com, it's like Netflix for video games. There's stuff for PS3, your Xbox 360, your Wii. I'm sure they'll have
That's a
all the
pretty
new
good deal.
stuff too.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
And, talking about deals, if you go on there, there's a 15-day free trial from AfterBuzz TV for AfterBuzz TV fans, Rick.
That's pretty nice.
You go to
Score.
Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV.
I like that idea.
So
See,
when
now-
you need your video game,
see, when I was a kid,
When you play Pokemon and the new one comes out, Rick, you know what to do.
when I was a kid, we had to make our own toys out of like a little spool of thread and a little match and thread and wind it up with a rubber band and watch it crawl across the table. My dad and I showed me how to make that.
That's probably why there's so many serial killers from your generation.
Yeah, pretty much.
You kind of went nuts back then.
I've been playing video games since Pong.
I made my own toy. This is off the subject, but you take a clothespin and you take the little wire thing and you reverse it and you put a wooden match and you pull the trigger and it strikes the match and shoots a fireball.
Really?
Yeah, and we shot it one day, and it went to the trash can, a big barrel, and it caught the whole can on fire. I mean, it's pretty dangerous
Sounds
stuff.
entertaining, though.
Sounds
Oh, yeah.
fun.
And we make little darts. I made little darts out of little needles and put them in wooden matches with threads and put little paper wings on the back, and you throw them. And I'd throw them in school and stick somebody in the back. Ah, man, this dart hit him right in the back. I got kicked out of school for a week. Anyway, I had a good time. Anyway, that's where I learned how to wrestle, by throwing darts. I got one more quick video, and then we're going to finish this up. It's the Old Pro Wrestling Catch Sharp. You have that one, Marissa?
Yes, I do. Here we go.
I think this is in the United Kingdom.
They actually have a new Pong video game now.
Pro
It's called
wrestling.
Tennis.
Oh, really?
It's called tennis.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it seems
It's
like England.
It's Japan.
Japan.
Same thing.
Do you guys ever watch old British stuff?
Yeah,
I'd love to see some of
when
that.
Nigel comes on, we'll bring that
I
on.
want to do some British round, watch some British
Yeah.
round stuff. Yeah, when Nigel comes back, that'd be great.
When is Nigel coming back?
He's maybe
Uh-oh.
What?
maybe next week.
Damn it.
Oh, you're not here next week?
No.
I can't, me neither.
I can put it off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, put it off. That's what is that?
Oh, this is French.
Like that ain't Japanese either.
Japanese? Is it English? Is it
No, I
French?
think it's French. Yeah, it's catch, because catch in France is wrestling. A little different style there.
Are there
Do you have any
certain
cannonball
holds that they
videos?
do more?
No, I should get some cannonball videos. I should get him on here when he comes to town.
Yeah.
Are there specific ways, Rick, that the French style differs from the American?
Well, they work a little bit on right and left, and they work a little stiffer.
Is it more similar to English?
Yes, yeah, it is. I worked in Montreal, Canada, and they're the French Canadians, and they work really stiff and hard. And you got to really take everything you want. They're not going to give it to you. This is pretty old too, though. That's why I thought it was Japanese. That guy right there sold me on
The
it.
token. I thought they were speaking Japanese when
I
you
did too at
first put
first.
this on.
That guy is large.
Yeah, it looked like Killer Kowalski, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
There's so many videos on old school stuff
Yeet.
on the internet you can find and look up stuff. And I would say anybody out there who really likes wrestling to look it up and just see where the roots are, because you learn a lot by that. And today's wrestling is so repetitious, as we all know. They're all doing the same spots, like the Universal spot over and over and over again. Back then you didn't see that. You saw a portion of it. But if you can bring that forward, just like if you play guitar, old guitar licks to new stuff. I got my son, he's a guitarist, and so am I, and I got him listening to Les Paul and Chet Atkins, which I always learned from back in the 50s and 60s. And he's a modern-day guitarist, and he produces, but now he's starting to listen to it. He says, my God, they have the best riffs. I said, that's what I incorporated with the guitar, all the classical stuff with the rock. So if you take the old school stuff and incorporate it with the new stuff you're doing, every here once in a while, and people say, I've never seen that before, because a lot of that stuff we never saw before.
Yeah.
And it'll make you stand out from the rest. Remember that, Chris. This is very important to your career as a pro wrestler.
It's a lot to take in all at once.
It is. It's a mouthful of food, but you know what? You're going to swallow it and digest it little by little, and then apply it to yourself.
That's why,
I like the way
that's why it takes forever to learn how to wrestle. It's a lot to take in.
There is no end.
Yeah.
No end.
When was the beginning? I mean,
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln?
Yeah,
He
you missed that
hunted
day.
zombies and he was a pro wrestler?
He was a wrestler.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know that, did you?
I
didn't know
Or
Abe
so,
Lincoln
or
was
so
Somebody
they,
mentions
or
it
so
every
they
week.
say.
Look
he
on the
was.
back of the bill. He's the president on the bill. Is it the dollar bill? No, it's Washington, isn't it? If you look on the back, it's him in the ring. On the back of the bill he's on. Abe Lincoln.
What is that, Bill?
5.
Thank you.
It was called AL Promotions. Yeah,
Hold on,
he did an indie league.
Are you serious? He's not wrestling on the back of a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
Nope.
Mil
Not
Mascara
there.
has-
Ryan, just say yes.
Nope.
Just say
has a
yes.
belly button too.
Totally
He's
does.
doing
He's
the
actually
Hurricanrana.
he's given a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, to the first lady.
He did the original. He was the original Stunner.
Yeah. Well, that's it for old school wrestling, you guys. I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I do every week. And I'd like you guys to go to ricdrasin.com and get my book, The Time of My Life, about wrestling and bodybuilding. I know I tell you this every week, but it's still there, and I have 2 left. So go back and buy them until I print 2 more. And rickscorner.com, which talks about the same stuff that we do on here, and I have guests that come on, and we show clips, and it's a lot of fun. And then we have New York Knockout,
Since we looked at some lucha today, I'm going to plug Los Luchas. We do training at the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. So you go to santinobros.net and come join us on Tuesday evenings at 7:30 and learn some really cool stuff.
I have Alpha Omega Wrestling next weekend, and then which is June 3rd, then June 24th, Dungeon Championship Wrestling, June 30th, Millennium Pro Wrestling.
And if you guys like
All
old
in California.
Sorry. Yeah, if you guys like old wrestling and sports and the whole aura that goes around there, and comedy, I have daddydoyle.com. We take old wrestling videos and put sports figures' heads on top of to mock current stories that are going on in the world of sports and wrestling.
How dare you?
I forgot about that. I saw your stuff. That was fun.
Thank you.
Like bobbleheads.
I'm gonna go check it out.
You got to put Rick's head.
Big head
Oh
videos.
yeah, add Rick to that.
I'll put you on top
I'm always the
of
butt of
Gorgeous
every
George.
joke.
Rick.
And don't forget to come out to my wrestling school on Tuesdays and Saturdays. All these people are here. We'll show you how to take some bumps and do the tickles and tackles of the business.
Beat you up a little
I
bit.
love the tickles.
We'll beat you with the
I like the
selling
tackles.
stick.
See you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.